Hi there, how you doing? I'm the Lone Dice Guy. Thank you so much for tuning in to my solo 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventure as Ming Zhao, a monk of the Order of the Dragon, Lion's Bane. When we last left off on our adventure, Ming and his company, they had just gone through a small battle. It took 2 sessions, but still, a small battle against some forces in the Merchant Militia, the outfit that Modug's a part of. We'll get to that. We get to why. We have a lot of lore to suss out, figuring out why that's happening, and we got tons of stuff to roll for today. But remember that Ming has been tasked by Karvok. He's been hired to do a job to get him and his Karvok's caravan to the dwarven capital of Dyp Jord, which is less than a few hours away at this point. It's very close by. And we've gone through many dangers and toils and snares to get here. Giant elks, lions, giant cliff faces, harpies, basilisk. I mean, we've gone through it. We've gone through the ringer to get here. But now we're finally here. We're almost there. We come across this battle. And Ming, I think originally they were going to try and avoid it, but then they saw that Modug Soldat, their friend, was involved, and Karvok's nephew. And of course, they jumped in, Ming jumped in to save him. So, battle is now over. Done. And we've got some housekeeping things to go through before we can continue with the scene. So, first things first. We need to update our threads. And so, the threads that we have going on right now, we have to complete our training. So, that's what the whole purpose of this whole campaign is, right? Ming needs to complete his training in the Order of the Dragon, get strong enough to take on his master in single combat. Now, he's already challenged him once, foolishly, and lost, of course. It wouldn't be a good story if he beat him in the first session. So, he lost, and the rules of the Order are that you have to wait a full year to challenge the master again. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to wait a full year and then challenge the master again. But in that meantime, Ming is working hard to get stronger. So complete your training. We're working on it. Help Karvok reach Dyp Jord. We're almost there. We're like 3 hours away. So that's going to be filled and crossed out here in this session. Meet Gem in 3 months. So remember, it's already been about a month since Ming made that promise to meet her again. So we have 2 months left. Where is Tai Yang? Well, before when we left, we didn't get to say goodbye to him. We didn't know where he was. He's apparently hailing Ming. As we learned last session, he's in the forest hailing them along the mountain path. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do with that. We rolled it with our fate chart, but we'll find out more about that this session. Maybe. Merchant Militia political problems and inner turmoil. I think at this point, this is going to be our focus of this session, because this is now twice that Ming has encountered the effects of the Merchant Militia going against itself. And so we need to figure out why. What's going on here? What is the situation? And the best person to ask is Modug, and he's right there. So. And then also strong monsters leaving the caves and the underground lately. Remember, we've had many people talk about it before we left, and even along the way, Korban has said, "Hey, we've encountered stronger monsters lately." So there's something going on here. Don't know what it is, but there's something going on here. If you think I've forgotten any threads, let me know in the comments below. But I think that's all of them we got going on this moment. All right, so we just finished the battle. So our scene setup is this. It's the aftermath of the battle, and Ming, Modug, and Karvok and company, they've got a little talk. They've got a little chat to have. They're going to have a little talk. So we need to figure out what is going on here. We've got a lot of lore to suss out. So before we do any of that, new scene, we got to roll against chaos. So what is our chaos factor was at 6 last time. I think the battle went relatively well. I think it went more than well. I think the battle went more than well. So we're actually going to lower it down to 5. So we're just back at 5. All right. So that means we roll a d10, and we roll it. We figure out if this changes the scene in any way before we start. 3. All right. So it's an odd number, which means that it's an altered scene. So it's not quite what we think it will be. Something changes. Oh, okay. I'm going to ask the fate chart something. And I think likely. So I'll tell you what it is in a moment. Oh my gosh, a 0-1. That's an extreme yes. Exceptional yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's the lowest possible. It's like getting a nat 20 in your roll. So Ming is walking back from his little execution of the one that was of the soldier that was running. As he's walking back, he notices that the other soldiers are all picking up, pieces of weapons and armor. They're cleaning up the battlefield, right? The post battle operations have begun. Rahav and Korban are walking around curing, and not only the people on our Modic side, but also the others that survived, that surrendered as well. They are still cleric and paladin of Saren, right? They're going to heal everyone they can. But they're also going to help restrain them because, whatever. I think that Modig is still going to be kneeling, like on his knees in the dirt. He's exhausted. He has used every ounce of his strength. There's nothing left. But at this point, Karvak has, seeing the battle is over, has run out from the carts and with his nephew, and is trying to put a blanket around him because obviously he's probably at this point cooled off and doesn't want to get sick or anything. Ming walks up and also goes to his knees in front of Karvak, or in front of Modig, and he says, "Modig, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that we were able to help." "Yeah, I'm glad to see you too." They have a look of brotherhood, just a moment of understanding. "What are you doing here, Uncle? What are you doing here?" "Well, my boy, I've been trying to establish trade with Dyp Jord again. Ming here's helping me get there, and those two over there," and he nods off to Korban and Rahav. We've had a really tough journey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to a nice warm bath and a big steaming bowl of stew. "Well, you'll find it in the city. We're only a couple hours away." "Yeah. What were you guys doing this far out?" "Just normal patrol." All right. At this point, I'm wondering what's happened. But before Mode can go into his spiel about what happened, I asked the fate chart, does all this fighting attract any attention? Specifically, the giant elk that we were avoiding. Does it attract the attention of the giant elk? Remember, we rolled an altered scene, so it's not quite what we think it would be. We expected to have a moment of talking, but I guess that's not going to happen. I got a 0-1 on the roll, so it's an extreme, like the most extreme yes that could be. Here's what I think happened. Just as Modok's about to start, Ming feels it first because his senses are a bit more heightened because of his training. He feels the slight rumble, in the earth, and he notices maybe in the lake to the left of them the ripples a bit start small but then get larger. And then he looks up and looks a little bit further off, and he sees it. A tree go, and then a tree after that, and then another tree and two trees. Clearly something is barreling towards them inside the forest and down the path. Oh, how does Taiyang fit into all this? I'm just going to ask a straight 50-50. Is Taiyang going to be like running out of the forest like, rah? I don't know. I think so. I think it's likely. Somewhat likely. 81. That's a no? No, it's not. Yeah, it's a no. What is going on? So Taiyang avoided it entirely. Whatever reason I don't know. We're going to find out more about this later. But Taiyang isn't there. All right. So this Ming sees the trees first, and he goes, we need to go right now. And everybody's like, why? And that's when they start to feel and they kind of all, Ming's like, because of that. And he points to the forest and the trees swaying, and all of Ming's part company like puts two and two together and is like, oh, we need to go right now. And I think that the soldat, unit, they all kind of get really big wide eyes. They all start running towards the carts. I mean, the carts now at this point are coming towards the group as well. I mean, it's chaos. People are jumping in the cart, soldiers and merchant alike. Everybody's getting in. Ming jumps onto Karvok's cart. He jumps in there. Modig jumps in the back, and everybody's on the cart, and they take off. Right as the carts just barrel out of kind of the clearing that they're in, this giant, cursed, sickly-looking elk barrels out of the forest and is just, is going full tilt towards them. It heard the fighting and it is not happy. So, all right. So I don't know if this giant elk has the endurance, the constitution to chase them for 3 hours, but let's find out. So I'm going to have the elk do a constitution check. All right, so DC will be 10 plus 5 is 15 because of chaos rank. It's a huge creature, so it probably has a bit of endurance, so we'll bring it down to 14. All right, constitution check, plus 2. 12 plus 2 equals 14, right on the money, oh goodness. So, the elk's going to chase them the whole time. The elk's is coming after them. It perceives them as a threat somehow. What is this elk? I know we're in the middle of this intense action sequence, but we got to know more about it. What is it? Let's go to our meaning table. 84. Care. Okay, that's interesting. So care and that's 10. Yeah, it's 10. Care and good. Care and good. Oh, this is obvious. This is so obvious. Okay. This elk, this giant elk, is a kind of a greater, is like maybe a lesser or greater spirit. It's not like a spirit from another plane. It's in this plane, but it's kind of a greater spirit that is tasked with taking care of, making sure that this forest, this mountain range is in good hand, like is in a good standing, right? It's kind of like a guardian spirit, I think, but it's been corrupted. Clearly, it's got the black, pustules and things on it. It's got black spots all over it. Like it's been infected or corrupted or cursed or something. Who knows? So it sees the battle and it just goes berserk, right? There's no, I don't know. Is it intelligent? I think it is. We're going to say yes. But right now, it's kind of like, being corrupted and changed and morphed. And it's not able to think straight. So it's got the endurance and it's got the mental acuity to understand like that's an enemy. The people there are an enemy. But I think also it does have an inner instinct to try and defend the forest. So even if they weren't attacking the forest explicitly, it perceives them as a threat. So, all right, interesting. So this is like a guardian minor spirit deity of this forest or part of the mountain range. Interesting. All right. So remember, at this point, we have 5 carts left. One of them, unfortunately, dropped into off the cliff, off the mountainside. And so with those 5 carts left, we have kind of an even spread of people. One cart has Ming, Modig, and Karvok in it. Another one has Rahav and Cairo and a couple other people. And the rest are all different soldiers and things like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll 3 checks. Right, just 3 simple checks. The first one will be just a simple the constitution competing checks. I'll use Ming as our check for kind of the little caravan, and I'll use the giant elk stats. So crimson is Ming, and yellow is the elk. Okay, so a 1 and a 15. Ming rolled a 15 plus 3 is 18, and the elk rolled a natural 1. Interesting. So we'll deal with that in a moment. So, as they're barreling down the path, I think the elk maybe used a bunch of its energy in the initial charge, thinking it could catch them unawares. It kind of did, but Ming's senses picked up on it. But after they take off, they get a huge lead on the elk, and it starts losing some steam a bit. So here's the question: what can they do to keep it from catching up? I don't know. Let's go to our character sheets and find out. All right. So Rahav has this really cool spell called Altaluk's Resilient Sphere. So she can cast this like barrier. Now, normally it can only contain a large size creature. This elk is huge. She's not trying to contain it. She's trying to put it in its way, and it does that. So it's got to do a dexterity saving throw. And so we'll do that now. Oh, dear. So 5 plus 2 is 8. No, it did not make the save. So Rahav climbs into the back of the cart and opens kind of the black flap to see the elk barreling towards him. Boom, 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 boom. She quickly pulls out a small glass orb from her pack and begins, putting her hand over it and saying some kind of incantation, whatever she's got to say. And it starts to glow, a slight purplish hue. And then she, with all of her might, throws it as hard as she can. And it glides into the air and hits right in front of the elk. Now, it expands into about a 15 by 15 size sphere. And when it does that, it's glowing fluorescent purple. And the elk's kind of hind, chest area slams into the sphere pretty much immediately. Now, it didn't make its dexterity save, so it hits, and it kind of lifts, the back kind of lifts up, and it goes tumbling. And then the whole area, you can feel the boom, 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 boom. You can feel the rumble as it tumbles. The rumble as it tumbles. All right. You can feel the vibrations from it falling. And at that point, the carts, they get away. Now, this deer would have had the endurance to just chase after them. But I think with just the rolls and how they worked out, the carts get away. And that's the last we see of it for now. And so eventually when it's out of sight, everyone kind of slows back the carts back down. But at this point, what was once, a couple hours away is only now like an hour away. And so they slow down the horses, give them a chance to catch their breath. Everybody else is catching their breath too. Whatever. And so that's the end of that little mini encounter. But they're going to the dwarven camp. I remember it was an altered scene, so it didn't quite go the way we thought it would. That's okay. There's plenty of time to talk later. And so eventually the caravan pulls up to the gates of Dyp Jord. Now, these gates are huge. Remember, this is the dwarven capital, so cut into the side of a massive snow-peaked mountain. Remember, the snow is in the ground. It's cold. Winter has hit here in the mountains. And so, top of this beautiful snow-peaked spire, there is a door of pewter that has been cut into the side of the mountain. Various different dwarven runes all around it, signifying different kingdoms and kings that have reigned and dynasties that have reigned throughout the eras of the dwarven people. I mean, different depictions of historical events in dwarven lore. I mean, this huge, massive door is almost like a record of the dwarven people for all to see when entering into their domain. And so, as they're coming up to the door, Karvok and a couple of the other dwarves and Sodig that are all in their party, they all bow their head as they come close. And Ming, seeing that, he mimics it as well. He does the motions as well. They come up, and before they can even get super close, they notice that at the base of the door there is kind of like a customs, situation. They set up a customs area. And so there's 2 lines. There's lines for everyone that isn't a dwarf and dwarves only. And then in the middle, there seems to be a merchant line specifically. So they're bringing their carts through in between the 2 lines of dwarves and non-dwarves. And whenever the cart gets to the front of these 2 lines, a dwarven soldier walks up, holds his hands up. "Hey, where you going? My name is Karvok Soldat. I'm a merchant. I'm coming to reestablish trade with our people from the surface dwellers in Soldera. I'm coming on their behalf, and I need to reestablish trade." "Yeah. Okay, so what?" "What do you mean, so what?" I'm a dwarven citizen. Let me in." Kind of looks up and down, sees Ming, and then looks back and sees all the different non-dwarves in the caravan as they're all peeking their heads out the carts. But at this point, the merchant militia have also gotten out of the carts, and they're walking up towards. That's when Mythic Soldat steps out of the cart. I mean, he looks beat to hell, remember. And he walks up to the dwarf. Let this caravan in now. And his eyes get huge. Captain, I'm sorry. I didn't know. It doesn't matter. Let them in. And he does the salute. Right away, sir, right away. And so he motions the caravan forward, and then the doors open behind them. And as they're going through, Ming just kind of picks up, because remember, he can speak Dwarvish. He picks up a couple conversations. What are the nature of those conversations? Let's find out. We have 18. Move. Okay. And 5. Move inside. That makes perfect sense. Everybody's trying to get inside. Everybody's trying to get inside. We need more information though. Why are they trying? Why are they trying to get inside? 42. Haggle. Okay. And 61. Death. Haggle and death. Like negotiate death. Okay. So as their carts are slowly going through, Ming is picking up on some of the conversations, and he hears basically merchant, these non-dwarven, people. They're basically refugees from surrounding villages in the mountains. They're trying to haggle their way into the dwarven capital because it sounds like something really bad is happening. Monsters are coming up out of the Underdark, out of the cave system underneath the mountains, and they're wreaking havoc on the local on the countryside, on the different villages, all inside the mountains. And it sounds like a lot of these refugees from the nearby villages have had it very rough. And so they're desperately trying to get customs to let them in. And some of them are successful and some of them are not. And it sounds like some bribes are taking place for sure. They're having to bribe the dwarves to let them in. But on the left side, the dwarven part, they're basically going, yeah, you got nothing valuable? Cool, come on in. You got some valuable? Cool, come on in. It's a much easier process to get in as a dwarf than it is as a non-dwarf. And so the caravan is let in with Captain now, because he's been promoted, it sounds like. Captain Mythic Soldat leading the charge. Every time another guard walks up to question them, Mythic just kind of basically says, get out of here, and they do. They pay attention. So Mythic has a lot more pull now than he did before, it sounds like. So, all right, they're going into the Dwarven capital, and I think I'm going to end it there. Yeah, we got through whatever was happening we got through out of that, got out of the way of that giant elk, but something's happening there. We got more information to work with now. We know that something crazy is happening. These monsters up out of the Underdark are causing havoc and creating some kind of refugee situation that all of them are coming to Dyp Jord to get out of. The plot is thickening some more, but we still have so many questions. We still have so many things that we need to answer, and we will answer them in our next session. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Again, I said this in the very, very, very beginning. I'm just doing this for me. I'm doing it for fun because I'm enjoying it. But if you like these and you want to follow along, please definitely do share these videos. If you think like, hey, come watch this weirdo play Dungeons & Dragons by himself. If you think friends will like that, definitely share it. I don't really care. But I do have a sense, at least in my own head, that Ming's story is maybe 45 to 50% done. We're really close to the halfway point, at least in my own head. And so some answers are about to start coming, I think. We're about to start solving some of these mysteries. And we still got several out there. Taiyang is still out there. What is he doing? Who knows? We've got Gem and who knows what she's doing right now? We don't know. And we've also got what's going on with the Merchant Militia and what's going on with these creatures coming out of the Underdark. Why are they coming out now instead of before? There's all kinds of mysteries going on. And I think answers are going to start coming to us very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please do all the dumb YouTube stuff. I'm Xanathar, the Lone Dice Guy, and I will see you in the next time. God bless.